now turn to the world of gaming. Evolution AB is the global leader in live casino, but has just come through a bruising 12 months. To talk us through it, Tom Waterhouse joining us from Waterhouse VC. Tom, welcome back.
Thanks, Andrew.
So, Evolution, this has been around for about 20 years.
Yep.
Provider of business-to-business online casino solutions. Just tell us a little more about the company.
Yeah, look, their primary thing, or how they became very famous, they're the leader in live dealer. So when you play like blackjack online and you have people playing, like the actual dealer, they run those studios, provide the feeds, and casinos and online betting sites provide the Evolution feed for the live dealer. They offer a whole bunch of other services, but that's where they really differentiated themselves. And they've been listed on the Swedish stock exchange. They were the market darling for a long time in the gambling industry. We obviously only focus on the B2B side of the industry, and we've had a small stake in Evolution for quite a while. But they've had a bruising period because obviously they had online piracy, so there was a whole bunch of Asian groups that were taking their stream and not paying for it. And they also had exposure to grey market activity. So they've closed, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say grey market activity, just explain that.
So grey market activity, so in regulated markets where it's legal to take online gaming, so take any casino product, that's classified as legal. So for instance, in Australia, you're allowed to have a place a sports bet, but you're not allowed to place a casino bet online. So if they took business from Australia, that would be considered black market or grey market activity. If they took a online casino business from the UK, well, that's considered regulated because it's allowed in the UK. So they had some grey market activity. They've closed the piracy issue. They've updated the technology around that, making it much harder. And they've also made sure that the people that are using their feeds are complying and are regulated. So the market's punished them for taking that sort of more compliance-led route, and the stock's significantly down. But they're trading what you could possibly look at as relative value. They used to trade at 25, 30 times earnings. They're now trading at around 10 times earnings, 10 times free cash flow. They spit off a huge amount of cash, €1 billion a year in cash. But it's the market has to weigh up, is this business going to continue to grow, or is this speed bump really impacting them? And were they relying heavily on these markets they've had to close?
You speak of the digital pirate threat. What's happening on the regulatory front, and perhaps the issues that are affecting them?
Look, we think it's really interesting from the regulatory front because the markets that have not allowed online gaming are seeing huge black market leakage. So we think there's going to be a trend over the next decade that markets regulate, tax, and put in all the compliance measures. Now, for a business like Evolution, they're the clear market leader when it comes to a massive casino product, which is live dealer. So live dealer blackjack. So we think Evolution is well placed for multiple reasons, but we think that we're in a period of regulation and opening up in markets rather than closing down.
So are they, in fact, in a period of ascendancy, if you like, because some of the rivals have fallen by the wayside and they're actually expanding, particularly their footprint?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. It's actually incredibly hard, even though they're a technology business, it's incredibly hard to replicate what they do because they have huge studios with people playing blackjack, filming it, making sure there's no latency, making sure the cards are shuffled correctly, making sure the feeds go to the bookmakers. So it's a huge operation, and many people have tried to compete with them, but have never been able to deliver the product that they have successfully delivered for a long period of time. What makes them also interesting is they spit off a huge amount of profit, a huge amount of cash. So if they see something interesting in the industry and something that's growing, they have the ability to acquire it, but they also have pipes into over 800 bookmakers. So we see a lot of businesses that come up with very unique games and are much smaller, and the biggest issue they have is getting distribution. Evolution has global distribution, spits off a lot of cash, and is a clear market leader in a product that's very hard to replicate.
So what was it that attracted your interest then? Is it just their scale and their dominance?
Well, they're too big for us. We focus on sub 50 million market cap companies, but we've always paid attention to Evolution because they have done such a good job in this area, and they've really been like a standout company in the B2B space. But what has particularly made it interesting for us now, obviously the valuation is much lower in terms of the multiple, but that distribution piece, we're seeing really interesting, innovative products come about, but getting distribution into all the bookmakers is very hard, and Evolution has that distribution.
Tom, just finally, interested to get your perspective, particularly in the gaming space. Does the broader sort of macro picture affect the economics of that space, if you like? In other words, in periods like now when you've got geopolitical uncertainty and so on, and perhaps consumers and businesses feeling pressure in terms of cash flow and so on, is it a resilient defensive sector?
It historically has been, and the reason being is in terms of cost of entertainment, betting is very low cost of entertainment. So the average bettor may lose $400 a year. They may lose, that on average for them is sort of $8 a week, but they get 60 bets in that week. So they get a lot of tries and a lot of goes. So for them to go out to dinner, it might cost $100. To go to the movies, it might be $80 to go shopping and so on, to buy alcohol or whatever it is. So you get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of entertainment value when you bet. So it's one of the last things to get pulled back on, but obviously every time is different. We think of it as counter-cyclical in terms of an industry, but yeah, it's obviously there's always different changing times, and obviously you see times where it really peaks. COVID, when everyone was locked in their house and couldn't go out and had that COVID stimulus, all the gambling operators had a very prosperous time, and there's been big pullback since that period. But yeah, generally it's quite a smooth, consistent industry in that sense.